seven generations. We think of the 7 directions, and that 7th direction that we look at is that direction within ourselves. So when we give honor to the 4 directions and to the heavens, to Creator God, and to the earth, because the earth sustains us and gives us all the water and all the food and all the nourishments that our body needs. But when we have troubles, we need to look at that 7th direction. That 7th direction is within ourselves. That is where the Creator wants to make his home, is within ourselves. So when you think about those 7 directions, I want you to always remember that you are the 7th direction.
At this time, I would like to have you all to look at our young folks over here as they launch into the water for the first time. And during this, we will call on the elders from the Sacred Fire to give us an honor song. Today is a fulfillment of the vision of our ancestors, the hopes of those here, and the dream of those to come. By Hurricanes Florence and Matthew is often indescribable. But it is by the grace of God and by many, many hours of hard work by our staff that we stand here today next to the beautiful water at the Lumbee Cultural Center. We know that water has sustained our people by giving us food, a way to travel. It refreshes us when we are thirsty, and it has protected our ancestors and carried them on throughout their lives. Special connection to our past as we welcome Mr. Anthony Locklear. Mr. Anthony's grandfather had a vision for our families and the children in our communities, which began decades ago. And we have had to deal with Matthew and with Florence, and we've had to deal with recovery here.
He stopped his truck and asked me to get out right about over here. He looked and said, "Anthony, we're building a 100-acre lake." I looked at my granddaddy, and all I could see was a swampy area full of stumps where trees had been cut down. I just could not vision it, but I can today. We got in that truck and drove a little bit further, right over here. He said, "We're going to have 2 ball fields." He said, "and one of them's going to have lights." And it did. Got in the truck, drove a little bit further, and he stopped. He said, "Here we're going to have a swimming pool." I'd never been in a swimming pool. And it's going to have 2 tennis courts right behind it. And it happened. We drove a little bit further, and he got to talking about a driving range. Now, the only driving I knew about in those days was what he was doing behind that steering wheel. But it's talking about a golf course. And our people had never had the opportunity, not many of them, to even pick up a golf club. But we got a golf course. Then he said something I don't never want to forget. He said, "Anthony, there's a country club in Lumberton that we can't go to. But I have real good friends in Lumberton, and they sneaked me in just so I could look at it. And you know what, Anthony? We're going to have our own recreation center for our people." He had a vision, and it happened. I tried to imagine what Lester Bullard would say to you today. He would say, "Do you see this beautiful lake God helped us create? The water to form this lake comes from 2 streams, the juniper and the long swamp over here. 2 streams from two different land areas, but when they come together, they form a beautiful body of water. I think he would say, let's be like that as a people. Different people coming from different areas, different walks of life, but forming one unified body. A beautiful body that works for the good of not only the Native American people, but the whole world. He might would read from you Psalms 133:1. Behold, how good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. As we celebrate together the return of the water to the Cultural Center Lake, let's not forget the ones from the past that made this possible. There's a brick welcome sign right over here, and it's got all the names of the charter members of the Lumbee Recreation Center. Stop when you get a chance and read the names and reflect in great appreciation for the well they dug that we are drinking so freely from today.
At this time, we want to honor Mr. Montford Dow, who most of us know as Mr. Buddy Dow. I'm going to read what they gave me to read, and I'm going to say what I want to say. Mr. Buddy has been involved with the Cultural Center for decades. He has worked tirelessly on the grounds for cleanup and beautification for many years. In 2018, Mr. Buddy joined our staff here at the Cultural Center. He was instrumental in the recovery after both Hurricanes Matthew and Florence, as well as repairs to the Cultural Center Dam. Today, we honor Mr. Buddy by naming the dam in his honor as the Buddy Dow Dam, in recognition of his resolute service and dedication. And I'm going to say just a few words, and then I'm going to call Mr. Buddy up and speak, give him his opportunity to say some words. But I've known Mr. Buddy for a long time, and I've always known him to be a man that's a hard worker, good work ethic. He has worked tirelessly here, and Mr. Buddy, I thank you. I thank you. The Lumbee people thank you for the time and effort and the work, the sacrifice that you put in to make this place a special place.
The community does this. Volunteers come in. When the tribe purchased it in 14, Tammy, 15, somewhere in there, it was a challenge for us as volunteers. So my daughter, we got on Facebook. We need help at the Cultural Center. Guess what? 273 people in one day. And Mr. Lester was one of the big influences. Mr. David Oxendine, Robert Collins, those guys were here. They were a major part of this place. We want to get our kids back involved in this thing, so I challenge the chairman, his administration, to make things happen for the kids. We want the kids back out. We got to do something for our kids. And this is a perfect place. I think we can all work together and make some things happen. I appreciate it, John. I appreciate y'all coming.
I was made in his image, created in his image, for I was born to serve the Lord, and I can't deny him. I'll always walk beside him, for I was born to serve the Lord. My hands were made to help our neighbors. is the temple of the Lord. I was made in his likeness, created in his image, for I was born to serve the Lord, and I can't deny him. I'll always walk beside him, for I was born to serve the Lord. Let's do just one verse of Amazing Grace. Let's everybody join in and sing. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now